Hey guys, so today I have a very easy everyday foundation routine. This is for someone who's always on the go, who is looking for something that's more affordable. This is a full coverage foundation. I think it's a perfect foundation for an everyday person. It is the Maybelline foundation, the Superstay foundation, and I'll put it right here. It is very high coverage, especially for people who are looking for more coverage because of hyperpigmentation. So yeah, if you're interested in watching my foundation routine, please keep watching. Okay, so I'm starting off with the fresh face. I have just applied moisturizer. The next step is I'm gonna apply the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. I do use the Maybelline Face Primer, and that one is really good as well. I tried this one for the past few weeks, and I think it's pretty good for a drugstore primer. So I'm just gonna apply that. I do it on my T-zone because I do have oily skin during the day, and I do it as well on the parts where I have like textured skin. So one thing I do is I always conceal the dark spots that I have. I do like the LA Girl Pro Conceal. It is a really good concealer, so I'm just gonna go over my under eyes and then like some dark spots. As you can see, I have some blemishes from a recent breakout because of Mother Nature, so I'm gonna conceal those and then I'm gonna go onto the foundation. And to blend out my concealer, I do like to use my beauty blender. So I'm gonna use my beauty blender. This is just a drugstore beauty blender. I'm gonna use that to just blend out my concealer where I have concealed dark spots and my under eyes. Now, as you can see, I have already blended out my concealer, which gives me almost just a natural look. It just gives me an even skin tone where I can use less foundation. I feel like when you use concealer and you conceal those spots, you're making an even color almost. That way when you apply foundation, you don't have those spots peeking through. So I like to conceal my spots, make that an even skin tone as my regular skin. That way I can apply foundation and it's less noticeable and I can use less foundation. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to move on to the foundation. The Superstay Full Coverage Complete Foundation, and this is by Maybelline. This is a pretty good foundation. I'm in the shade 128 in Warm Nude. I find that this one is a little too dark for me. Right now I'm not tan, so I feel like this one is just a shade darker. I did go try to find the 120, which is the shade before this one, and all my drugstores are like out. I can't find it, so I'm just gonna go with this one for now. I do use this one when I tan, when I do like a self tanner, and I find it to match perfectly. So for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna use this foundation. We can fix it with concealer. When you have a dark foundation, you can fix it with concealer to make it a little lighter. It's not gonna be, you know, a big difference, but it does make a little bit of a difference. So I'm just gonna go in with this foundation. I usually do like 2 pumps first, and what I do is I like to dot it all over my face. So I'm just gonna go in and dot it. I do 2 up here, do like 3 up here. And then I'm just gonna do I'm just gonna use the Wet n Wild like a stippling brush. It's just like a flat brush, and I like to normally use a beauty blender to blend out my foundation, but I feel like with this one I can probably get more coverage. So I'm just gonna see what this does. So what I do is I just staple it all around. So I have already finished applying my foundation. As you can see, it is a pretty good coverage. I did 3 pumps. If you have maybe like less hyperpigmentation, you can probably get away with like 2 pumps, maybe 1. But I think this one is a pretty good foundation. I'm gonna apply concealer to make it just a little bit lighter. So I'm just gonna apply concealer on my T-zone. So to make this foundation a little lighter, because it is a shade too dark, I'm going to be using the Maybelline, is the Maybelline Fit Me, I think it's the Fit Me one. It is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in number 15, which is fair. I'm just going to apply it on my T-zone and under my eyes. Now to blend out this concealer, I'm going to be using the Beauty Blender again. I'm going to go in and just blend it out. So here is my foundation with no setting powder. Decided to do more like a close-up so you guys could really see what my skin looks like up close, with just an even layer of 3 pumps of that foundation. I do have some concealer, like I said, just concealing my under circles and my blemishes. As you can see, you can probably see that some of the hyperpigmentation, I feel like it's more of the scarring and the uneven texture that I have that is speaking through rather than the color. So I do have uneven texture on my skin, and that is from previous breakouts and just from a lot of acne I used to have. So this is up close and personal. This is what my foundation looks like without setting, without just any highlighter, bronzer, or whatever. So now I'm gonna go and zoom out and finish my setting powder and my bronzer and then my highlight. So I have already set out my loosing powder, and the one that I use is the Airspun loose face powder. I normally use the translucent powder, but I could not find it, so right now I'm using the naturally neutral powder. It gives me the same, it's just a little bit, I feel like, lighter. So I'm gonna set my foundation, and I like to use it with my I like to use it with my beauty blender. So I just dip my beauty blender in the powder and I go under my eyes. So I have already set my foundation. I'm right now, what I did is I just did my under eyes, and then I did my T-zone, and then my cheeks. I do like to set my foundation with a setting powder on my cheeks, because I feel like when I don't, my foundation moves, and I feel like when I put bronzer, I feel like it can look uneven. It is because of my texture. I have texture on my skin, so I feel like when I use bronzer, it looks blotchy. So I like to set my cheeks just to give it a smoother look, and just to make it a little bit smoother so that my bronzer can go on evenly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dust off that powder, and then I'm going to go in and bronze. So I'm just going to dust off the powder that I have, just some excess powder. So I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna pat it. What I do is I just pat it on like so. I like to do my forehead as well. And I like to pat instead of doing this, because I feel like since I have textured skin, I feel like it doesn't go evenly when I do it the other way. So I like to pat it instead. So this is my foundation so far. I did concealing, I did foundation, I did setting, and then I did bronzer. I'm gonna finish my eye makeup and I'm gonna fix my eyebrows, and then I come back and then I'll do the highlighter. So I'm back. So I have already done, I just applied some lashes, and I did a matte lipstick with some gloss, and then I did my eyebrows because they were a mess. Anyway, so the last thing I do after finishing my foundation is I highlight, and I'm going to be using the Wetnwild highlight powder. Now if you're looking for an affordable drugstore highlighter, I think this one is perfect. I did use, I'm having a hard time, I just bought it. I was using the Precious Petals in the past, but I finally found the Golden Flower Crown, which is a little bit more champagne rather than rose gold. I feel like Precious Petals was a little bit more pink. This one is a little bit more on the yellow gold tone. So I'm gonna go in and highlight with this one. So I'm just gonna use a found brush to highlight, and what I do is I like to put it in my upper cheek. So I'm gonna go in and put it up here. I do my nose. I just like to do my upper cheek because if I feel like if I put it more, I like the way it looks on other girls, but on me I feel like if I put it more on my cheek right here, it highlights my texture that I have right there. So I just like to do it on my upper cheek. I think it looks absolutely beautiful when other girls do it, but on me I feel like I can't pull it off. I don't have that great of a skin just yet, so I just like to do it on top. So after that, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna put it a little bit on my inner corner. Because I'm not wearing any eye makeup, I just did lashes. Very simple look. I'm gonna go in and just put a little bit of the highlight powder in my inner corner to make me look a little bit more wide awake. So I'm gonna go in and just put it in my inner corner. So as you can see, it gives me more of a highlight, more of a more wide awake, brighter look rather than looking dull. So yeah, this is my final look on my foundation routine. All the products that I used are drugstore, so you can find any of these products in your local drugstore. So I just did a very simple eye. My lips are super neutral. just lashes and a little bit of highlight in my inner corner. I think I like this look because it's glowy and it's just natural for every day. So yeah, this is my foundation routine. If you have any more video suggestions that you think I can do, please comment below. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm getting a little bit more of ideas what I can film. It's been a little hard because my lighting setup is not the way I want it just yet. And I'm gonna experiment with cameras and lenses so I can make more videos and have better video quality, so just bear with me. But in the meantime, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. So yeah, thank you so much guys for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.